dominating the paint. They were dominating on the glass. And it really, after the first 5 minutes of the game, it was really an onslaught there for Oklahoma State. 53% from the field in that opening half. If you're just joining us, only 8 players available to skate from the Cyclones tonight. 6 of them scholarship players. Oklahoma State, as we mentioned, playing without Cade Cunningham. But there he goes again. Moncrief up to 14 points. It's a Cyclone team still eyeing its first Big 12 conference victory. Here's Conte, who was in foul trouble in that first half, played only 6 minutes. Wild jump ball, raising the window, Chris. You do glass? Junior out of Chicago up to 4. Oh, this is the micro. Oh, this is.
But I just like the way he's been using himself out there with people.
I know the game plan is always to attack. This is the most free throws the franchise has taken in almost 10 years.
Oh, crap.
Why do you feel like you were so proficient at getting to the line of that?
Well, we want to attack the ring. You know, we want to play through hits. You know, that's the best shot in basketball is getting to that, that dunk, that layup, and that free throw line.
What are you talking about? Yo, what's cracking? Just wanted to start it up on the compressor steps. Xanadu, Aqua Balls, Bottom Dweller. But mine are real, not plastic. I see you, Bottom Dweller. TM, what's cracking? Pestotics, what's cracking? Aquafunk, what's cracking? Why I gotta be unprofessional? What up, Monica Lynn? What's cracking? Don't hate me because you ain't me. What's cracking? You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the stream. It's that time. The hours before the witching hour. Rocco's, thanks for coming through. Crystals, Pets and Plants, thanks for coming through. That was a good interview that you had on Science Gal Aquatics, Crystal. So it was really good. I know Patty is in here. Peplin, what's cracking? What's cracking? Thanks for coming through. Monday night, y'all. Monday night. Case of the Mondays is over. You can roll right into Tuesday, and right after that, hump day, and get it cracking. Yeah, man. So clearly my compressor subs is plastic, as Bottom Dweller Aquatics had pointed out. But if you looked at my trailer, I did show you my other 2 tanks that are planted, simply because I put live plants in them. And shout out to Diego from Pestotics. Sent me some plants through, Jungle Val, Swords, and what was this other one? Diego, if you're still in there, send me another one. It's a smaller one. And I didn't get all the ones that I asked them for. So I actually need to get some more. But for the ones that I got, I put them in, and you know, you feel like there's no really wrong way to plant a tank, but clearly I have been looking at the planted tanks as if those were easy. So I take it back. All those who spend time and money planting your tanks, making them look beautiful, making those plants look luscious. I was like, what they worried about those plants for? It's all about the fish. But you know what? It's something about the plants that give it us je ne sais quoi. You know, I knew that. Did you? Chad was cracking. Priscilla was cracking. I know Priscilla was going to be in here. Yeah, whatever, Tennessee. Biz killed fake plants. I got to go up and find that one. Look, it starts already. Hey, gorgeous. Amazon. Oh, you sent me all of this? Amazon, Jungle Val, and Anubia. Okay, so yeah, so also these aren't swords, the big ones that I put in this 29 gallon. But the Anubis are the smaller ones, right? Danikin, what's cracking? John McKenzie, thanks for coming through, Kenny. Yeah. Angling and aquatics back in this thing. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, man. So, dwarf sack. All right. So, yeah. So, if I showed you what I think I plan on making my beta dorm room, I've got a video coming out of me searching through PetSmarts and Petco's, looking to save a few 5 beta. So that should be interesting. But I don't think my water conditions are the best, since I kind of had this tank sitting here. So I really got to kind of get it to where it needs to be. I think I have like a small nitrite deal going. So those who have planted tanks, put the number 1 in the chat real quick, just real quick, so I can see who all has planted tanks. Where are my experts at? Where are my planted tank experts at? Amazon swords. Okay. Aquaballs talking to Monica. Monica Lynn, thank you for coming through. All right, Angling and Aquatics has planted tanks. John McKenzie has planted tanks. Ditch it for a blue one. It's on front. Go Cubs, go, not ever. St. Louis Cards Nation, baby. Get them out of here. Rocco, you gotta go. All right, Aquafunk has plants. Monica has plants. Not an expert, but I'll try. Hey, you are on YouTube, so you are an expert. Crystal's Plants and Plants is an expert, and Priscilla has so many ones up. Super expert. Peplin, a Creek Aqua. All of my people have come in to talk plants. This could get interesting. Hodes 21, thanks for coming through, bro. Thanks for coming through. And also a plant guy. Okay, so for the non-plant people that didn't put the ones in the chat, all right? You put the ones in the chat so I can know who's the plant people. Now, we have a host of different plant people. We should have some great answers on how to get me started and start enjoying this whole plant thing, right? Jeffrey Watts, thanks for coming through. Put your ones in if you are a planted tank person. All right, so as an African cichlid keeper, those who keep African cichlids, if you're new to African cichlid keeping, then you should know that African cichlids and plants don't mix, especially with the bigger ones, right? So they move too much stuff around. They're rough. They chase. They dig up. They burrow. They make all kind of aquaballs and TN. Jeffrey Watts, everybody, Planet People, love it. It's what they do. It's definitely what they do. So keeping 7 tanks full of African cichlids and African cichlid fry and African cichlid juvie, basically, boom, set up some decor. They like open water. You know, they rarely hide. They give chase. They do all of this stuff that they do. Throw a little sand in there, water parameters straight. Had not thought about doing anything planted until I got this community tank. For those that know the story, that I inherited from the high school and all its inhabitants in stock due to COVID. All right. When they shut the school down, they said, somebody needs to take this tank. Hey, he's the fish guy. Go ahead and let him get it. So now I've inherited dojo loaches, guppies, platies, and I just added dwarf frogs and rasbora myself. So with that, I decided to kind of push the envelope a little bit and try my luck at some plants and throw those in there. Since I hear so much about how, you know, the plants can help develop a great ecosystem in the tank, definitely help oxygenate the tank. But then you have to have like other things. So like they don't tell you about, you know, some of these plants need lighting and how much lighting and how much do the lights cost for that. Anthony's Fishy Friends, thanks for coming. Appreciate you for coming through. And then there's plant food. And then there's like, dude, it's like a whole nother world. So while I'm over here playing with plants, boom, I'm throwing plants in, thinking like, plants, just make sure you dig them into the substrate. Boom. All right. I was like, you know, I do lighting for the fish every now and again. That should work. They work on their LEDs, right? Yeah, that should work. S, thanks for coming through. So clearly I'm wrong. Okay. Did not even know the term melting was for plants. It took Steve, a Warrior Planet Tanks. He's like, now when you get the plants, you know, they're going to melt. You know what I'm talking about? See, they're going to melt. And I'm sitting there like, they not ice cream. Gee, what are you talking about? They're going to melt. You're going to see them melt. Trust me, they're going to melt. You're going to see them melting. And then like a couple of days later, I was like, dude, why is it all brown and just wafting into the water? Is that the melting? That's the melting. So now that I have a few plants, like I said, Pestotics just sent some Amazon swords, some Anubis, and some jungle val. Okay, because I told them I have a 15-gallon. I'm thinking about setting up a beta dorm room. All right, with 5 beta into 15. So I said, set me up with some plants that can go in a 15-gallon, and then set me up with some plants that can go into 29. And so that's what he sent. Now, one tank, I think I'm doing really well with the plants, but I don't know, right? I was on Band. If anybody hasn't joined the app, Band is app where you can, you know, trade fish, plants, and things of that nature. But I have, I picked up some guppy grass, and this was from somebody who just clipped the stuff out of their tank, and then she just put it on our porch for free. So she was like, whoever comes and gets. So I got some guppy grass. I got some, some more plants, man. So look, I just threw them in there. Hornswort, New England Endler, thanks for coming through. Fresh Water, thank you for coming through. Canucks, right? So please stop saying Amazon, just say sword. Okay. All right. Excuse me. So I threw all of that in the 29-gallon. Okay. So now I've got plants floating. I don't know if they're supposed to float. Apparently they said get some twist ties and you can tie them down and plant them. I just let them float. I don't know. I wonder if I can. Okay, so point I'm trying to make is this. It looks good now, but how do you keep it looking good? All right. I mean, to me, it looks good. Now, for those, I'm gonna switch cameras, and you tell me if it is good or if I'm screwing everything up. I might be effing it up. So let's see. All right, so that's as far as it goes. All right. So that has the guppy grass is floating at the top, and it has the swords you guys can see in the front over there, right? Okay. Now, that is the 29 gallon. All right. Now, where is the Anubis and the jungle val? Well, all right, there is the jungle val, and the Anubis is down low, right? Now they're getting, and there's one sword in there. I put the other swords in the 29. Now I believe that they grow higher, so I think Diego told me to put all of this in the 29 gallon, but I didn't. So there it is there. Okay. Now I can't read the chat because I'm holding this camera on here, but I'm letting you guys get a look at it. For you plant people, drink it in, drink it all in, and swallow it down. All right. Did you swallow? Okay. So tell me something. I don't know. All right. What did I miss? All fishy. All things fishy. Thanks for coming through. All things fish. All right. Looks healthy so far, says Rocco's Fish Room. I'll take that. So am I not to worry about the melting? There is no stopping of the melting. Someone had said that in my comments. Melting. Someone tell me, what is it? Is this natural? It works all the time? Is there something I got to cut, bend, slice, tear off, bite off? What? I'm no pro, but it looks like Val is planted too deep. Okay. Okay. Now, in this tank, in the bottom of the tank, I have the Fluval plant feed rocky substrate, whatever the brownish joint that gets hella milky, like a rusty, look like chocolate milk. You got to keep stirring it, then you got to pour it off. And you stir, and then you got to pour it off. Then you got to stir, and then you got to pour it off. And then when I put it in there, it still milked up the whole tank, and it was just trash. But that's what's in there, and it really wasn't a lot, and I needed to get more, but I had no money at the time, so I just left it as it is, and then I just kind of like shoved it where the roots would go. Plants melting back is often a result of plants switching from merged growth. Most farm plants found transitioning to submerged growth. Okay, all right, I can get with that. Okay, now. Swords are root feeders due to Fluval substrate and don't add ferts right now. Okay. Val likes to send out runners, so just pluck with fingers. Okay. All right. Val likes to send out runners. All right. So does that mean they just send out different shoots of leaves? Is that what a runner is? Because back in the day, a runner meant something else. Well, you get you a runner. she gonna get it. She's gonna get it. New plants usually melt in the new setup. They bounce back if the water is too hot or too cold. They bounce back if the water isn't too hot, too cold. Okay, so what is the temperature? Is there a certain temperature for all of these? Or like, is there a set temperature for all, or do some like it colder? A lot of them like it hotter. I've got 77, 70, 75, 76 going on in the 29 gallon. and I've got 74, 75 like over here on the in the 18 gallon. Is that a big difference? So I honest, use root tabs and easy green, both from a carrier co-op. My plants go crazy. Melting is going to happen. Can't stop it, but I clip them off. Okay. All right. So I had to come all the way down. I love when people say farts. It sounds like when people say farts. What a geek. Because we have Val, I'm going to, should have leave it to the experts now. No freshwater Canuck. You are an expert. I keep my plants at 78 to 82 degrees. Okay, and Rocco, what kind of fish do you keep in there with those plants? Exceptional plants getting pretty hot left outside in the summer. Temps won't usually cause melting. Okay. Plants just seem like more problems for me. That's exactly what I was starting to say, Patty. Most plants are totally fine anywhere from mid 60s to the mid 80s, says All Things Fish. Wow. Plants like the water to be 99.9. Feed me, Seymour. Piss furted. Cichlids. Okay, so you keep your plants with cichlids. What kind of cichlids, Rocco? You got the small dwarf cichlids, or you got... That's interesting. Okay. All right, do frequent water changes. Ideal temps vary for plants. Try starting with just swords in that tank and the valve. The Anubis needs to attach to something. Okay, so I don't just plant everything, because that's how I have it right now. I've got everything planted, Anubis, Val, and swords. And you've already told me that swords seem to be okay. Val might be planted too deep, but Anubis needs to attach to something. Something like substrate, or something like Avant. What I need to put a stick in there, or plants make things easier. Okay, well, let me know when it gets easier. I need to know about lighting. How much I got to pay for that? Do they need specific lighting? Is the LED fine? Is the light that comes with the 15-gallon tank, the lid light, is that enough? Okay, Epistos and Crebensis. All right, so you have the dwarf cichlids in there with them. All right. Yes, I got dwarf cichlids. Or do I have dwarf cichlids? No, I don't. I just grabbed some Lake Tanganyikans, but not any dwarf cichlids. I really want to grab some rams, and I really want to put them in with some discus in my 60-gallon. Look at this 60-gallon. Look how sorry it looks with just 3 Synodontis, and I don't even put the light on anymore. They're just in there sucking on glass. Looks sad. I need to get it cracking. Discus costs money, and I need to make sure I know everything about them, because if they start melting like my plants, I'm going to be one pissed off biz. You should have a plant snob in the seat like All Things Fish. That sounds great, because that was my next question. You know what, Priscilla? Do you want an A&R for me on my channel? If anybody would like to join the hotspot that wants to talk all things plants, that'd be great. Come on up into the hotspot. And you might get more questions than just plants. Hey, I almost made a love connection last week. Ooh. Anybody remember Chuck Woolery and the love connection? I'll be back in 2 and 2. We'll be right back. I'm Chuck Woolery. What's up, Royal? I tried to call you, fool. What up with Anubis? What's up with the Anubis is down low. It's in the substrate, and it doesn't look bad. It's still green. You have all easy plants, Biz. You'll be fine. Okay, Peplin. That vote of confidence. Thank you. Sometimes I just get all up in a tizzy now that I'm trying to actually keep real tanks. Apparently, African cichlids aren't really real tanks, or they've been real tanks in like the 80s. Everybody tells me, no one does those anymore. It's all about the nanos. It's all about the small tanks, and get you some plants in that thing. Attach Anubis to rock or wood. All these plants will do all right with medium to low watt lights. Oh, what light is on the 29? The light, okay, boom. So you buy a tank, it comes with the hood and it has the light in it. Bam, that's what's on the 29 gallon, that light. Hood light is what I call it. And there it is. He finally admits that he hates it. All things fish. Now you have my attention. All things fish. Would you mind? Do you mind coming up on the panel? Is your hair dead? Let's talk to the plant pros, man. I'm so glad that you all showed up because I had plant questions. And for anybody that wants to replay this, all 12 or 13 of those people maybe have plant problems. So that's what I'm looking at. So I'll go get my notebook and I'll take notes on the things that you have to say, because I really kind of want to make it look kind of cool, man. I've seen what some people can do with some plants, man. They have like tweezers and they bury them into the whatever, and then they populate them up, and they have something, look over here, and they've got underwater mushrooms, and then they've got molly and some X and a whole bunch of other different things growing in there that seem really cool. Love Connection was before my time. Use super glue gel to attach Anubis to rock or driftwood is safe to put in immediately after gluing. Super glue gel. Is that what it's called? Like you could put glue up in there? Royal Fish Keeping Jamaica. What up, brother? Thanks for coming through. We're talking plants right now. In Jamaica, when you say you're going green, it means either you need to have a bath or it speaks to politics. Oh, no, I was just talking about throwing plants in here. I'm not trying to get into all that action. I have underwater bamboo. Can I be in the plant club, please? Well. If it isn't my little nemesis, Joe Munoz. You're a little late, ain't you, Joe? Thanks for coming through. You have not a plant in your house. You don't even eat salad. You don't even have the little decoration clover on your plate. What are you doing here, you jerk? True Players Podcast. Thanks for coming through, G. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming through. We in this thing. We talking plants. Boom. Is there fish in the 29? If not, wait on the fish. Keep the standard light on for 9 to 10 hours, maybe. The fish were there first. So the Dojo Loach, I just added Rasboras, the Harley Quinns and the Brilliants, the Dwarf Frogs. Everything was in there. I just added the plants in last week. Straight up. Let's see. I can't play with Joe right now. Let's see. I got to get to the real. Rocco's talking to Crystal just when you thought it was safe to go YouTube. Odes, your current lighting should be good for the plants you currently have. Okay, but don't get into anything wild. Like, don't look into any other plants for real until I start learning how to keep the easy joints. Apparently, people are growing these things so well that they're cutting the trimmings off and just giving them away on van. So clearly I need to get something together. I just got my butt out of bed. I can answer some questions though. Does that mean you're going to come up into the hot spot? Is that what that means? Just let me know. All in fish. If you want all in fish to come up in the hot spot and talk plants, put in a number 2. A number 2 for all in fish to come up to the hot spot. Let's give her some good old fashioned what's this called? Peer pressure. Let's see if that works. Great, we get to see the mustache untamed, says Patty. Patty has moxie, spunk, and a couple other STDs I can't even speak about. Oh, Joe, are you still breathing? I do well with plants so far because I grow a garden a year. I have some of the hottest peppers you can imagine. Oh God, Rocco, you and Larry D. Hot peppers. Aqua Funk Wad up. Biz can't even grow duckweed. That's very funny because I know people get rid of duckweed because it grows so much, and I don't have any for that reason. You're not funny, Royal. Cool, Rocco. Kick it up a notch. Rocco, if you want to come up, if All In Fish doesn't want to come up, anybody else with that could speak plants with us? You know what? 2, 3 of y'all could come up. It's whatever. We can get it cracking. We can just have a whole plant discussion and get this thing straight poison ivy. You feel me? I'll be the Joker. Harley. If you haven't seen the rated R Harley Quinn, it's on HBO Max and every Fire Stick if you have it available. It's hilarious. She get the cussing on that mug. Poison Ivy's her best friend. The Joker hates Poison Ivy, calls her a well, hello, plant whore. Calls her a plant whore. That's crazy. Salad is for iguanas. All right, 2. Joe's Tanktopia, man. We talking Planet Tanks right now. Thanks for coming through. Joey T in the place. 2. Everybody wants All In Fish to come in. I can do the things for a bit. Okay. She says yes. That sounds like a yes to me. Hey, I'm sending it through the chat. Here we go. You know, All in could come in, she said, for a second. And if anybody else, then we'll go from there. But we're going to put All In. This is for All In right here. It's copied. It's pasted. And it is in the chat. All In Tanks. Once you get that, I'll see you backstage. I'll give you the thumbs up. And then we will bring you right in, baby. Oh, I'm sorry. I said, I meant to say he. Sorry, All Things Fish. Patty was on my, and Priscilla was on. I tripped. Let's check out the fake plants in my last flick. No, I'm not looking at your fake plants, Joe. I've already used one of your questions. You should feel honored that I even used one of your questions, Joe Munoz. You're damn lucky, okay? Because I'm not messing with you anymore, man. That's it. It's it for you. You've got your 5 minutes of fame. Be gone. You got a nice mustache for a she. Kind of reminds me of I am sorry, you guys. I apologize. Well. if it isn't my little friend Joe. You dirty, dirty, dirty.
I'm on to you, bro. I'm on to you. Hey, everybody knows. Everybody knows. You don't come around my neighborhood because even the fifth grader shit will take your wallet. They'll take the lunch money.
You can't even reach my wallet, son.
You see this? Muay Thai. I'll kick your legs now really fast. You'll be down and out so fast. You'll hear two things. Me kicking you, you hitting the floor.
You're the smallest Lex Luthor I've ever seen, man.
Well, you're asking for trouble now. Now you're asking for trouble.
Listen, I've got all things fish back here. You're gonna have to get out of here. You got plastic plants. You're in your bathroom. Thanks, Joe. We need the laughs. All things fish. Thank you for
What's up, man?
I apologize. I've been on the copper cup a little too much today.
Meals are good. I don't blame you.
All right, before we get started, somebody else is eager to come to the stream. Back for his third unprecedented time, Aquafunk Aquatics.
Hey, hold up. Joe Munoz, whoever son you stole that shirt from, you need to send it back. All right, Joe Munoz. I see it's cutting off the circulation to your arms and your neck. You're talking ridiculous. You need to go ahead and get the shirt back and stop shopping at Oshkosh B'gosh. Right?
Yeah, he definitely didn't get that shirt out the men's section.
Just tight. Just the stitches just That's it. That's all I had to say.
Oh,
I'm out.
Very good. Thank you, sir. All things fish, talk to me, man. Thank you for coming
Hey, what's
through.
up? You bet, man. You can blame Priscilla. If anything goes wrong, blame Priscilla because she made me do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. She usually does. Welcome, man. And
Yeah.
So I am so glad that, people that kind of have been doing this for a while are in here and giving me a little insight on this stuff, because once these things were going brown and melting and like no one gave me the 411 what to look up. Like I'm over, like I called the Amazon sword tails at one point in time. I'm like, you got sword tails? Where are they at? I was like, they're right there. They're planted in the ground. Oh, you mean sword, Tommy? Yeah, whatever. Because I'm used to just fish. So, all right. So, when it comes to, just tell me something, man. Let me know what I got. Okay, so I have the swords. I have Anubis, and I have Jungle Valve. Apparently, these are easy to keep. I shouldn't be killing them, but let me know what I should be expecting on a week to week or a month to month.
Yeah, I mean, chances are, like I said, with the Anubias and the sword, at least, they're generally farmed, immersed grown, because then they grow faster and you don't get algae on them. So that makes it easier for them to grow some plants, distribute it out to whether you're into your local shops or whatever. So that immersed growth, once you get it in your tank and submerge it, you'll probably see a lot different leaf shape as it transitions over to submerged growth. An immersed plant and a submerged version of the same plant, they can look totally different. They'll have completely different leaf shapes. They may display different colors.
And we're talking about Anubis?
Just plants in general. Just most plants in general. Yeah. So a lot of the plants that we keep in our tanks, I'd say the vast majority, for the most part of the year, they're actually found near creeks where they're not necessarily in the water, but they're nearby, and they're only actually fully submerged for like the rainy part of the season. But anyway, so the farms grow them immersed. Like I said, it's just faster. It's a lot easier to handle them. They'll throw them in pots. They ship them just in a bag out to the store. You pick them up from the store, or you order them online, whatever. And then when you put them in your tank, as they transition over to being submerged, so atmospheric CO2 levels are about 400 parts per million. Most tanks are only about 4 to 5 parts per million of CO2. So that's one of the parts they have to transition to, is the leaves will actually be a little bit thinner. They won't have that waxy kind of cuticle layer that they use to retain moisture. So you're going to see those leaves most likely die off. So they'll kind of slowly rot as it sprouts new leaves. So once you start seeing those leaves, whether they start getting holes in them or if they just look tattered or get real soft, they're starting to rot. So those are releasing a lot of decaying organics, which can trigger, it's actually there's some proteins involved, but it's largely the carbs that are released as that it decays, and those will trigger algae to bloom. Okay. So some people when they first get new plants, they're not real aware of the situation. As those plants die off, they don't remove the decaying parts that causes algae to spike, because the algae realizes that there's all these extra nutrients, and there's some of these triggers, like I said, like the carbs and some proteins that are released as that happens. Okay. Now, real quick, Peplin said the ones I got from the keeper won't melt. The guppy grass, the hornswort, something that starts with a P, I want to say. Okay. But go ahead. I jumped in the stream a little bit late, so I didn't catch all of it. But it depends. So just like fish, if I keep my fish in soft water and you have hard water, it's going to take them a while to you may acclimate them differently. It's going to take them a while to adapt to the different water. Just like that, plants. If you keep some plants are a little more sensitive than others, but some plants, if I keep my plants in soft water, just like fish, if you put them in your tank, it's completely different parameters. So you may see some rot or some melt, die back as a result of just that stress. And again, same situation. A lot of people will actually, when they order plants, I've seen some people, they'll cut all the leaves off the plant. So they'll plant it, they'll cut all the leaves off and just let new growth sprout. Oh, somebody should have told me. I could have cut them off before I put them in. Okay. All right. I personally don't do it. I'll cut off any like tattered or worn or just kind of beat up leaves, but I don't cut off all of them. Some people do. Okay. But yeah, I mean, generally in a perfect world, if person A keeps their tanks, their plants in similar conditions as yours, then you won't see melt. I can pass plants between myself and my friends or vice versa, and we all keep our tanks at pretty similar parameters as far as TDS or hardness goes. Okay. So most of the time we don't see any problems, but sometimes if you ship stuff, like I've shipped stuff that's taken a week in the mail, and if it's temperatures came up earlier, so if it's like 60s 70s outside, a week in the mail is nothing. Those plants are going to look, as generally speaking, as good as they did when they get to you as they did when they left my house. And even it's better in the winter. It's better to ship plants. Plants do better getting cold than they do getting hot. I think you saw one of my comments earlier where if you ship the plants and they sit outside and that box gets up to like 90, 95 degrees, whatever, they're gonna die off probably. You'll see some rot for sure. You may end up with just a mushy bag of brown mush. Oh wow. Okay. Now, I was looking for what I had all got from the porch of the person on band. Water Sprite, Rotala, and guppy grass. Okay. So that's what I just threw that in the 29 gallon. It seems to be doing okay. I'm not sure if it's the guppy grass that's floating or the hornswort that floats. I don't know what floats, but put it in there. Yeah. So both of those will float. And actually a lot of people, when they first get plants or new plants, at least, they will just float them. One, because all plants have the ability to obtain nutrients from both the substrate and the water column. So they can uptake nutrients through their leaves as well as send out roots. So by floating plants, they said you're giving them access to higher CO2 levels because they're right at the surface. Some of their leaves may break the surface, so they're getting some of that access to the atmospheric CO2. And that's one of the reasons that duckweed grows so well on the floaters, like frog bit. Those grow really well, and people use those to suck up a lot of nitrates because they grow so fast. Is because they have access. Obviously, they have higher light because they're up higher in the water column. They don't lose any of the power from the light as it goes through the water, but they have access to that atmospheric CO2. So you're looking at 400 parts per million CO2 versus, single digits on a tank that's not supplemented with any additional CO2.
Okay. All right. And I also heard that I should have something floating before I get my betas, because it'll help prevent them from jumping out of tank. I noticed that my frogs, as soon as I put in the floating guppy grass or water, whatever is floating, they tend to just kind of chill up in it. They just really like to bear with it. So not sure if the beta thing is right, but I would rather keep the betas if I'm going to get them.
Right.
So,
it's definitely not going to hurt anything in most situations. Obviously, it's going to provide some cover, so it gives them some security. It gives them some shade. Those plants are going to shade them out a little bit. Some fish prefer that they have the brighter light, where some fish prefer to be kind of more in the shaded areas.
Okay.
Anthony.
The stash is taking over. Very nice.
But yeah, and additionally, you're going to get a lot of micro critters that live within those plants, especially like your hornwort and your guppy grass that's kind of more dense growth, those fine needle-like leaves almost. You get different copepods and amphipods that cruise around in there, so your fish will hang out in there because there's good food source.
Sweet. It's like a win-win then.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people broccoli. A lot of people. It is easy to be kind of overwhelmed initially because there is a lot of information out there. Luckily, you don't need to know all that information to be successful with different plants.
Hey, that works because I don't feel like reading anymore.
Yeah, and back in the day, reading was all you had, and there was some mixed information available.
Whoa, are you over? Wait, what's going on here?
Bobby asked me to put my glasses on, so he has a thing for
like
glasses.
You look like
apparently.
a super trooper.
Patty likes the stash, and Bobby likes the glasses.
Does the schnozberries taste like
schnozberries? But like I said, there's a ton of information out there, and it used to be, you had to be in a club or you had to actually know somebody because there really wasn't even a lot of literature out there. And some of the literature, like anybody can get a book published, right? Like just because you publish a book doesn't mean that information is accurate. So there's some books that a lot of people follow that have some potentially misinformation in there.
I mean, like YouTube's any better just because you have a YouTube channel.
Right. So the advent of the internet's great because it allows us to share information no matter what it's about, whether it's about cooking or fish or plants or whatever. And you can hit so many people with information so fast. Unfortunately, it's not always information. It's just a lot of bad opinions and some really, really crappy advice. So for a lot of people getting into the hobby, for people that are well experienced, if you breed cichlids, like you probably have a pretty good idea of what you're doing, and you know a lot about those cichlids that you keep. So if you see somebody post bad information or bad advice,
right, I got you though. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You'll recognize that, right? So like I'm big into plants. So if I see somebody post some crappy advice about plants, I'm like, hey, don't believe this. That's wrong. But if you're new to the hobby, you'd be like, oh, well, I saw this on YouTube. I don't know any better, so I'm going to follow this. And then they follow crappy advice, like, why is my stuff dying? And then they get frustrated, and then they say, oh, well, plants suck. And
they shut it down.
So it's unfortunate.
I'm starting to dig it, man. I'm starting to dig it. And I don't know if you were in here when I showed you a picture of my jungle valve, but I'm gonna throw it on here real quick. And I want to turn it into, I want this to be my future beta tank. So I just checked, my nitrate levels are a little high, but I did just set it up not too long ago. So there you are looking at it there.
Okay.
I've got a sword in there, as you can see, the tallest one hanging. Yeah. But the jungle valve, the Anubis, is underneath. And actually, between you and me, what's surrounding the barnacle, that purple barnacle there, those are some plastic plants I kind of threw in there.
Okay. Nobody else needs to know that, though.
Yeah. Okay. Just to hide the sponge filter that I put the barnacle on top of. But yeah.
So if you look at that Amazon sword, you can tell that it's been mostly immersed growth, because they'll have it's not quite a stem, but like the long stalk before it gets out to the leaf. A submerged Amazon sword, the leaf will start almost at the very base of the plant, and those bad boys get big. I think Amazon swords can be pretty easy to grow, which is great, and they do look good. But I've had them outgrow 125-gallon tanks, no problem.
What?
Yeah. So I mean, once the leaves get bigger, if they're too big for you, like I said, just hack them at the bottom and just keep new growth running. But
okay, all right. So, and that was my next question. After this question, I wanted to talk about lights, but so is it easy to transfer? Do I float them like I would float fish in a plastic bag, or can I just put them in water and plant them to the next tank? Or I know you said if the temperatures are the same, like you and your partners who run the same, style tanks, you guys.
Right. Yeah.
So would I be able to do that with these?
I would say you'd have no problem moving most species just from one tank to your other tank. So.
Okay. All right, and it just takes some time, just like anything else, to get acclimated, and then once they do,
it can, and it kind of, obviously as your experience with plants increases and you get a little more comfortable with it, you'll be able to pick up on some of the more subtle nuances and kind of recognize, okay, this is from stressor X, or this is because I let it sit out and get dry too long.
Okay. All right. Hey, anybody in the chat got anything for All In Fish? Because we're gonna throw him in the hot seat, in the hot spot. We're gonna get you in the hot spot, All In.
That's all right. That's all right. And if I don't have a lot of stuff out there yet, but you can actually check out my channel. I do have some videos where you can see some of my planted tanks right now. But we'll get there. Right now, I just have a 125-gallon display that sits in my living room. That's pretty fancy compared to most tanks that you might see.
Okay, very good. I definitely will check that out, though. That's going to be, especially the more and more I kind of am going to be looking at these tanks, because it just has now that more natural feel to it. So,
yeah, it
might be something.
And some people enjoy that, some people don't, and it depends on what kind of fish you like. A lot of the bigger South Americans, like some of the Severums like to chew on plants, or if you keep Mbuna or Malawi, or like your peacocks, your more common main lake Africans, they'll chew up plants pretty good.
Yeah,
there are some Africans that you can keep in heavily planted tanks. Like you can keep Demisoni in tanks with generally no problem, and that can be a pretty cool looking tank. So you're not always restricted by your fish, but a lot of the times you're kind of at the mercy of what fish you have and how well they'll play nice with it.
All right, it looks like Funk might have a real question. I can get a lot of off-plant ditches and ponds. How do you clean them from parasites and illness that will hurt or harm my fish? Looks like he was texting with his elbows or something.
His elbows. Yeah, no. You'd kind of run it through any like a basic quarantine process, just like you would a fish, really. I would keep it in a tank separated from your other stuff, just because you don't know what parasites and pathogens may be found on those plants. Some people use a diluted bleach solution, and before they initially put those plants in any of their tanks, whether it be a quarantine or whatever, they'll spray the plants with a bleach solution and rinse it off. Hydrogen peroxide works pretty well. You can actually use hydrogen peroxide as a spray or a quick dip too, and that'll help. Otherwise, a lot of people worry about plants carrying snails. Snails bother some people. I don't care. It's just another thing in the tank. But potassium permanganate, you can make a solution to dip plants with, and potassium permanganate is pretty good. to use as kind of a general preventative to try to clean your plants up a little bit.
Okay. And would you suggest a quarantine tank? Just like we suggest quarantine tanks for new fish?
Yeah. I mean, if you were gonna pull them from the wild, like a pond or a ditch or whatever, I would definitely use some kind of quarantine type setup.
Okay.
Because you don't, there may be some fish pathogens that are hanging out on those plants, and if you just give it time with no fish in the tank, they'll eventually die off. Or there's other just parasites and weird critters like leeches and stuff that you could find on them. And a couple weeks in a tank where it gives you a chance to look at them a little bit and see if anything's growing on them doesn't hurt anything.
Okay. And then for the lighting, with the plants I have, since you said they're fairly easy, the LED and the light that comes with the tank with the cover on it, the hood light,
Right.
is that? And then does it need to be ran 8 hours, or do I need to shut it down? Or
so generally speaking, you'll get advice all over, and I'd say just do what works for you. I'd say 8 to 10 hours is a good place to start.
okay.
There's some people that they're like, oh, well, I've got a planted tank and I run it for 14 hours a day. Some people say, oh, I've got a planted tank, I run it for 4 hours. And it's whatever gets you the results you want. That being said, there is a certain limit on how long a plant is actually doing anything productive during a photo period.
Yeah, photosynthesis.
Yeah. So after a while, the plant's gonna be like, all right, I'm done for the day. I don't have any energy left or whatever, and it's just gonna stop, and you're really just feeding algae at that point, because algae can generally use light a lot more efficiently just because it's a lot simpler structure. Plus, they've got a couple extra, not extra enzymes, but higher levels of enzymes like rubisco that help them be a little more efficient with the light that's available. As far as the amount of light or the strength of light on your tanks, for a lot of the lower light species, you can get by okay with a lot of the LEDs that come with tanks anymore. So your lower light species are going to be like your cryptocorans, your anubias, and those will grow. They'll grow fine. They'll just be a little slower, which is okay. Some people like to run lower light just because they don't want to deal with the hassle and the constant growth and maintenance of your plants growing a little bit faster.
Sure. Super cool, man.
Yeah, and generally speaking, especially with your stem type plants like your hornwort or your it's like hornwort, your rotalas, your ludwigias, your guppy grass. If a plant isn't getting sufficient light, you'll notice that it grows really tall, and there will be a lot of separation between nodes of leaves. Mm-hmm. So, like if you look at your rotala, it should come in. Leaves are usually in pairs of 2. So you may see 2 leaves paired together, and if it's not getting very good light, it may be 2 or 3 inches before you see another node of leaves. Whereas if the higher light you get, that plant doesn't have to spend so much energy to try to grow up to reach the light. So it'll actually just produce leaves, and you'll get a bushier look that stays a little bit lower lying. And that's why, so if you see like carpeting plants, like that lush green carpet, sometimes it's small, like round leaves, sometimes it's more like a grass type look. That's because they're pushing a lot of light, and that plant doesn't need to grow up high to reach usable light to execute photosynthesis. So it stays much lower, because when it stays down low, it can just spread outwards. So that's kind of a pretty good indicator of of how your light's doing or how your plant's doing with relation to available light.
Okay, man, that's super informative, man. All things. This has been great. This has been great. Now, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man.
Well, it ain't got nothing to do with plants. These questions.
Hey, you had my attention earlier when you said you started talking about other stuff. So let's get to the real talk here. Real talk. Now that we're done screwing around, we broke the ice. Let's get down to business.
Yeah, here we go. All right. Look, it's hot spot time. Now, you do keep fish, right?
Yeah. I currently I own about 60 tanks. I only have about 6 or 7 set up right now. Kind of in between. I had a small fish room set up. It was about 8 by 10. And I'm working on, I epoxy the floor, and I'm going to do a little construction type work, running some plumbing, some electrical, a little insulation to set up a room that'll be about 12 by 18 when it's done.
Outstanding. Okay. All right. And what is primarily, what's your favorite fish?
Right now, I'd say it comes and goes in waves. If you asked me 2 years ago, I probably would have said some of the different apistos. Right now, I'm pretty big into rainbow fish.
Okay.
So I keep my 125, my planted display that I have. I keep a group of about 40 Chilatherina alleni from the Wapoga collection point, which is kind of made famous, I guess, by Gary Lang. He had some pictures published in an article in Amazonas a few years ago. But it's really cool. It's a full size rainbow fish, so it's going to look about like the size and shape of a boesemani, which most people are familiar with, the blue and the orange. Obviously coloration is different, but that's kind of the body shape that you're thinking here. Okay. And you can see I've got several videos showing off some of those fish while they're spawning in one of my breeding tanks, and then actually in the display tank itself on my channel. So if you go over there, you can find those. And then I do a lot of the dwarf rainbows and the false rainbows, the pseudomugals, so the blue eyes. So if you've seen like the Furcatus are pretty popular, they're yellow. They've kind of got the pom-poms on their fins.
Okay.
So other than that, Corys I'm kind of getting into a little bit of a Cory kick. I've got a couple friends that started breeding Corys. Generally speaking, I like to breed a lot of stuff. So I'll get a bunch of a type of fish, like a bunch of rainbow fish. Once I figure out, I'm like, okay, I figured out how to breed rainbow fish in general, because most of the time, the different species all breed through the same concepts. So just get a group of a few different species, get them to breed, raise them up, distribute them through clubs or online, and then move on to another group of fish.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what is your favorite size tank then?
My favorite size tank right now, since I've been doing a lot of breeding lately, the short 15-gallon tanks. Not the tall ones are like a 10-gallon that's just like stacked up, so you get 15 gallons out of it. But the short 15-gallon tanks work really well for, like I said, if you take a group of, you can put 6 Corys in there and you're going to spawn them easy. You can put shrimp in there, you're going to spawn them easy. The dwarf rainbows fit really well in there with a couple spawning mops. So I'd say in order, based on size and what you're trying to do. So for smaller fish, 15s. For a medium-sized fish, a 40, and if you're doing larger fish, a 75. I can't stand 55s or 20 highs. 20 highs, you can get a bunch of them next to each other, and they don't take up a ton of space, but they're a pain to work in. Right. And you have a lot of water there, but most fish aren't going to use it. And then a 55, same thing. I like planted tanks, so that means scaping and stuff, and you don't get the extra 6 inches of depth front to back that you get on a 75. You're working with basically. It takes up the same amount of space in your house, but you get so many more options, and you have such a nicer looking tank because you actually have depth when you look in the tank. A 55, it looks like a flat wall most of the time. You're just looking at a picture, but a 75, you actually have some depth to it, and you can see, and it looks like a little more of a piece of nature instead of just a picture on the wall.
Very nice. All right. What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
First thing I do when I wake up, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Oh, never mind. No,
you can say it.
I'm the first thing I do when I wake up most of the time is shower. Today I worked late. I worked late last night, so I got up pretty late. It's currently 2 here. I got up probably around noon.
It's 2 o'clock.
Yeah. So I'm actually in Guam for work right now. So I'm originally I live in Iowa back home, but I'm in Guam for work right now. So I've got a 7th floor balcony view of the ocean over here. So
that's awesome.
It's not too bad. It's all right.
Man, that's pretty cool. I mean, work is, but I mean, for you to be traveling and out somewhere, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I'm amazed at the time zone changes where people like, hey, I'm an hour ahead, but you're like, yo, it's 2 o'clock here. Like, where the at?
Yeah. And the past couple of weeks or so, I've been jumping into these live streams that turn into just hangouts where you got a panel of 5, 6, 7 people. And we'll go, it's funny because you'll watch the East Coast folks get on, and then the stream will continue, and you'll see some of the West Coast folks get on.
Sure.
And then I'm usually one of the last people's in the stream. And by the time that I'm getting out of the stream, you got the East Coast guys getting back on for the morning shift, and they're just rolling right through. So
okay. Very cool. Very cool. If you could remake,
Rocco, you know where I live, man. I've told you that before.
If you could remake any movie and star in it, what would it be?
Any movie and star in it?
Sure.
Top Gun would probably be pretty fun. If you could be Tom Cruise in Top Gun, you probably had a pretty good life.
Right.
You probably got to see some stuff.
Yeah, plenty of stuff, right? All right, fast questions. Hot or cold?
Hot.
Truck or SUV?
Well, I'm a Jeep guy, so I'm going to take that into a little more detail. I'm a Jeep guy. I currently have I've got 2 Wranglers. One's a little bit older. One's a newer 4-door. They're kind of my toys. Do rock crawling stuff like that with them.
Very nice.
It's just the ability to have an endless aftermarket. Really, you can customize your stuff. Like we love to customize our fish tanks. Everybody puts different fish, different equipment. They all look different. I'm not the same way with my vehicles, so I like to have the option to do a bunch of different stuff to it. So
I just realized here in St. Louis, Missouri, that there's a Jeep club, and I just saw them run their Jeeps through the zoo. I was like, dude, what's up with all these Jeeps?
Yeah,
it's a thing.
So if you're down there, you probably have the opportunity to go to some of the Massey swaps, the Missouri Aquarium Society. Yep,
definitely a member. Yeah.
Are you okay? So I'm actually so I'm about 4 hours north of Kansas City. There's a small corner of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa that all meets up in Sioux City there. So I leave there. And so I've been out to some Greater Chicago Cichlid Association stuff. I've been to Wisconsin area Achille org stuff over in Milwaukee, some stuff in Omaha. Haven't been out to Denver yet, but Denver and St. Louis are kind of on the list of places to go and events to get to. Seems like the Massey group is really, you got some ambitious people going down over there. I'd love to stop down and meet some of you guys. And
oh man, it's a time. It's a time. They have it in a decent hotel in a conference room. It's usually always packed out. I mean, once this whole stuff gets out of our system, then we're back on and popping. So I talk to the Massey members all the time. I'm there. They love to hate me. I just became a member, but I always used to patronize the swaps and everything. And now I'm flooding the Massey Facebook and everything with just like, hey, I'm on YouTube. Check this video out. Check. Like this is this the guy? This is the guy that was with his shirt on in the swaps. You're like, me.
Yeah. So if you're into catfish at all, whether it's like Corey's or Plecostomus, every odd year up in Madison, Wisconsin, they do Cataclysm. I'm not sure if you've heard about it or not, or if you're into that. But that's, if you want to talk about a good show with some great people and a lot of cool stuff. It's a great time. Again, like I said, it's kind of your typical fish type event where it's hosted at a hotel. Sure. So they got a big conference room set up. They do different speakers. They do swap meet type thing. They do auction. They do door-to-door sales. So a lot of people, they'll just keep, they'll keep their styros in their room and put a sheet of paper on the door outside, and you just knock on doors like, hey, I'll take six of these or a bag of those or whatever.
That's kind of dope. I like that. That's pretty cool.
But you get people from like Jeremy Bosch, I think, who's from California. He makes the trip. Eric Bodrock, Ted Judy. So you got a lot of the bigger names that come out there, and it's not like your Aquashella or Aquatic Experience, where it's more about just like the show and getting to see, vendors and new products. It's a little more like you go to learn things, and you go to acquire some different species from people and swap and trade things.
Yeah, that's pretty smooth. I like that. I just kind of like that atmosphere. Like, did my first Aquashella last year. Is awesome.
Okay.
Great experience.
Yeah.
So looking forward to doing it in a different city. So
yeah, I'm hoping. So a group of us were talking about that the other day. Hopefully, things keep getting better, and we're allowed to attend events.
I was in someone's.
What was that? Sorry.
No, I was in someone's stream, and they were saying that they still have Dallas, Orlando, and Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yep.
And they had
Dallas.
They had like August, October, and
yep. Dallas is over Halloween.
Okay.
So some of us were. So Priscilla lives about 7 hours west of me. We were kind of joking around about taking a road trip and running down there for Dallas. Orlando, I think Orlando's in June. That one's a little bit earlier, so that one will come up a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could. I mean, that would be a fun drive. You could make a trip out of it, but that's more of a flyer for me.
It really
Especially
is.
being in St. Louis, you can probably fly down there pretty cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
I haven't been paying to the chat. I see Biggs. Yeah, Biggs is a good dude. If you don't watch Biggs' stuff, he just started getting involved in YouTube a little bit more and put some stuff out there. But Biggs is funny.
Okay. Very cool. Tacos or burgers?
Ooh, burgers. I love me a taco, but I'm from the Midwest, man. We like our beef. All about the burgers.
Pause. Weeknights or weekdays?
Weekdays.
Okay.
Weekdays. I like to because of my job. I don't necessarily have a super set schedule.
Okay.
So it's I'm pretty flexible, so I can make things happen.
We're all not able.
Fortunately, I'm not locked into that 8 to 5 type deal every day. So,
sure. Yeah.
Which is good. It gives me some flexibility with my wife and kid. We get to go do some stuff, and not be tied down to like holiday weekends and crap.
It's always positive. Undercover or on top of the cover?
Ooh, under the covers. I love being under the covers. Okay. My wife hates having her feet covered up when we get in bed, so she always kicks the covers off. Wow. But I'm an under the cover guy, so she gets pissed because I always,
I like to have like all of this under the cover, but I'll have to have at least like a toe out or something.
A toe? Okay. So you're one of those people.
Yeah. One of those, right?
Yeah.
Star Trek.
That's okay.
Wars.
Star Wars for sure, man.
It's all good.
Star Wars all the way. In fact,
Mandalorian
2 days ago. So funny story about Mandalorian. My wife and I were big into the first season. Unfortunately, I had to take a trip out here to Guam, and it's not available in Guam. So I threatened her life if she watched it without me. So I haven't seen the second episode. I've been avoiding a lot of people on Facebook because they've been talking about it. There's been some teasers here and there, but I get home in about 2 weeks, so that's priority number one. I think is to catch up on season 2.
Man, you're gonna love it. Oh my God, you're gonna love it. Reality TV.
Reality TV. So there's a couple decent sitcoms out there, but some of the reality type stuff is pretty interesting to watch and see how some other people live.
Yeah, absolutely. A good movie or a good show?
A good show. I think you get a little more. I mean, I enjoy a movie, but a movie is kind of like a one night stand, like hit it and quit it. Like, yeah, like no matter how good it was, it was just once, man. It's just like, would you rather have it once? Or would you rather, like, have the option to keep going back for more? Keep going back for more. And it could, I mean, sure, you can watch the movie again, like, great, but you know what's going to happen. Like right. You get a show, I mean, you might learn some new tricks along the way. She might teach you something new.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Favorite sport with a ball?
What's that?
Favorite sport with a ball?
With a ball, soccer.
Okay. All right.
I love so watching soccer is not the most entertaining thing. Playing soccer, I love playing soccer. Favorite sport with a ball to watch would probably be football, just for the social aspect. Football games are fun. It's a little more social. Like, the game itself isn't great, I don't think.
I mean, if you like soccer, soccer's a game with a ball. So I mean, that perfectly answers the question. Yeah.
But big into hockey too. Hockey obviously doesn't have a ball; it requires a pair of balls. But hockey's pretty
good. Brains or body?
Brains.
Okay.
I mean, there's a good compromise between there, but you can deal with a body. You can't deal with personality. Like, that personality is not going to change. That personality is not going to change.
It's a fact. It's definitely a fact. Are you a morning riser or a night owl?
Both. I mean, obviously, I don't do both at the same time, but it depends on what's going on. I like to turn up at night sometimes and stay up late working in the fish room or hanging out with friends. But I like to get up and get things done early in the morning too. Whether it's I do a lot of outdoor stuff, so mountain biking or fishing or camping or whatever.
Okay. Favorite substrate?
Favorite for what's the end goal? What are we doing?
Just what do you have mostly in the bottom of your tanks? What's your favorite substrate?
What do I have mostly in the bottom of the tanks? Right now, I've got a lot of stuff set up for breeding, some cories and rainbows and some of the dwarf cichlids. So I would say pool filter sand. It's cheap. It works well. It does the job. So most of my tanks have pool filter sand. My planted tanks have aqua soil in them. So right now, my big tank's got Amazonia, because I got a really good deal on it. I don't know if I'd pay full price for Amazonia. But the aqua soils, if you're setting up a planted tank, it's tough to beat. It's worth the price tag,
Mm-hmm. Home cooked meal or go out to eat?
Home cooked meal. Love when my wife cooks, and she loves to cook. So we live by the inside outside rule. So if it's inside the house, she does it. So if it involves cooking in the kitchen, it's all her. If it involves firing up the smoker, I'm all about it. Pick me.
Hey, look. Hey, same here, man. Same here.
Put some ribs on the grill and just start drinking beer and enjoy the weather outside.
That works. Favorite superpower?
Superpower. Ooh. I don't know. There's a lot of them that would just be absolutely pointless. Like Aquaman. What good does it do to be able to talk to fish? Nothing. That's useless. That's the most ridiculous superpower on the face of the planet. Absolutely ridiculous.
Fish tubers might disagree.
I know what I think about my fish. I don't want to know what they think about me. Imagine this ugly mug staring at you every day while you live inside a glass box. It probably would make you super happy. In fact, I think,
man, when you gonna change the water, man? The nitrates is killing us, son.
See, it's better to just not know. It's better to just not know sometimes.
It's a fact. All right. And let's go with the last question of the day. Butt or boobs?
Ooh. I'd say boobs.
Boobs.
I mean, I can enjoy and appreciate a good butt.
Boobs it is. Hey, listen, everybody. All in Fish did it, baby. He did. He joined the hot spot. He went through it. He came out like a champion, all in tanks. I mean, all things fish, you guys. Man,
It's been a pleasure, man.
hey, man,
Priscilla's
listen,
Priscilla's upset. Hold on. Priscilla's upset.
What's wrong with her? I heard that smack. Let's see what that snack talk too says. Patty says smack.
Priscilla's upset that you didn't ask her if she liked butts or boobs.
Look, Priscilla, you had came on here with like 4 people. Like it was crazy pandemonium when you came up here. If you would like back, we will get you in here again and we'll ask you the tough questions.
Ooh, round 2.
Boobs or butt? Go ahead, Priscilla. Boobs or butt? Go ahead. Is she gonna answer? Oh man, all things fish, man. This was awesome, man.
It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Wealth of knowledge.
I've been around the fish keeping community for going on 15 years now. I'm 31 now. I started keeping tanks when I took over my dad's 29-gallon in 2005. So I've been around. I've been in plants for a while. I've been doing fish for a while. Oh, it depends on if she walks forward or backwards. So I've played the game. I'm always trying to learn. Bow-legged. You're killing me, man. You're killing me.
That's what I do on Mondays, man, because everybody had probably a rough day at work. Come and wind down and just kick it, man. This is it. It. Man.
So I've been doing this game for a while. I've kept a few different things. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to keep, a lot of stuff I'd like to breed, learn how to do some different things with. Always looking to get better. But just recently kind of got into the fish fam, the YouTube scene. I've been watching. Finally decided to show my ugly mug, participate, get to know you guys a little bit better. And it's great. It's fun. Like this show right here, you get into fish keeping because fish sound fun, but you stay in the community because guys like you and guys like everybody in the chat that keeps you around. And this is, like I said, people need a laugh. People need a way to let loose and relax a little bit. And, at the end of the day, the support that you get from each other in this hobby is through the roof. It's unmatched. Like you got a bunch of strangers right now. And somebody's posts up and they're like, hey guys, having a bad day, whatever. And it doesn't matter if they know them or not. Like everybody's standing up, being the first person to say, hey, if you need something, ask me. If you want to talk to somebody, come talk to me. And that's what the fish fam, that's what this community is about. And that's what keeps me coming back all this time. The fish will always be there. Like it's always gonna be the same. But the fish fam, the community, the friends that you make, the people that you get to know is why I'm here.
Absolutely, man. And we appreciate you, man. And I'm gonna go check your stuff out. I'll probably have to hit you up a couple of times like, yo, they're brown, son.
If it happens, don't be afraid to holler at me, man. Find me on Facebook. I run the Get Gills Facebook group with Dan from Dan's Fish. I run that over there. You can find me there. Email me, mike.allthingsfish@gmail.com. My information's on my YouTube channel. Find me over there. And I love, even if you ask me questions and I'm like, I have no idea what the answer to that is. Like you and I, we're gonna learn it together. Like we're both gonna go find it. I'm gonna find something to read. I'm gonna find something and I'm gonna learn it. And I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna help you learn. And we're both gonna be better about it. I love talking fish. You're never gonna bother me talking fish. There's people that ask me a million questions like, oh man, I'm sorry to bother you again. Whatever. It's like, this is my hobby. This is what I enjoy. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy learning myself. I enjoy trying to help people learn, help teach folks and inspire folks to do something new. And so you're not bothering me one bit.
Monica, stuff. Thank you for putting all things fish in there for me. And Facebook, I'm about to follow you right now. What is it?
Awesome, man. You can find me All Things Fish on Facebook. Or you can check out Get Gills. If you just Facebook search Get Gills, it'll come up.
All right. So now under All Things Fish, is it Missouri Aquarium Social Discussions? Is that like, oh no, it's all in All Things Fish 1.8, right?
Yep. So it'll be Facebook.com/Mike.allthingsfish will be me.
That's not it.
I don't have a group. If you want to join the group, Get Deals is the Facebook group that I run. We'll get there.
All right. Okay. All right. Is it ATF? Who's that?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. All Things Fish. ATF. I don't know who that is. That's not me. Yeah,
okay,
there we go.
All right. Hold on. If I could get it in they're there.
That's it. That's the ticket.
I'm joining, or I'm sending a message.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Bottom dwellers, what's up with the CO2 talk? If you guys want to sit down and talk about CO2, I'll talk about CO2. I think Fishy Biz here is trying to move on from the Plant Geek discussion for now. But we can always talk CO2 some other time.
Look, CO2 is getting a little too like it's like
right.
Too Fast, Too Furious. That you guys.
Hey man, I just got some guppy grass. I don't even know what this stuff does.
Man, I'm telling you, right? Look, I got enough extra oxygen going on. I'm still losing fish. I don't know what's wrong with the plants. It's their fault. Hey, listen. All things, I'm gonna hit you up, man. I'm gonna send you a message. It's either gonna be either Fishy Biz or Drew, whichever one, man. They're both me. Shoot you a message, let you know that I'm joining up. We'll be in touch, man. Maybe you come back on here and grace us with your presence again, G.
Hey, whenever you want somebody to come on here and talk crap with you, I'll be here. We can talk. We talk fish. We'll talk cars. We'll talk plants, food. If you want to talk barbecue, we can talk some barbecue.
Oh, let's get it. We could definitely do that. We'll do that. I might just do a whole stream of that. It's gonna be called Fish. Put them on the grill style. Monday.
So if we're doing that though, we got to be eating some Q. We got to be.
Yeah. Okay. We'll set it up. We'll eat some Q on the stream and make it rock out.
All right. Let's do it. I'm in. I'm sure. I'm sure there's some fish folks that like some good barbecue too. So
let's get Tennessee in this thing. Tennessee. Let's see what's a Tennessee barbecue versus that St. Louis barbecue.
Ooh, I got my money's on St. Louis. Money's on St. Louis.
No, I'm from Kansas City. That's where we keep going back.
Yeah. I hear you.
That is. Listen, hey. All Things Fish, I really appreciate you, Mike. Thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for giving me a host of knowledge. I'm gonna use it. I might lose it, but I got your number so that I can get you back up, and just in case I need a refresher course. Everybody in the chat, thank you for coming through. Your link was in my chat. People who haven't followed, make sure that you follow. Make sure you go check it out. Hey, man, make it happen, y'all. Make it happen. Hey, thanks again, and shoot, we just gonna be out this thing, man. I'm in this broadcast. Yay, Monday, 9 p.m. Central Time. You already know next Monday it could be something else. Who knows who's gonna be in the hot spot? Y'all just come through. You never know what's gonna happen on Fishy Biz Aquatics. Peace out, y'all.
Have a good one, guys.